Cassandra Moreau thought the grief of losing her father was the worst she would face. She was wrong. The real shock came in the lawyer's office, delivered by the cold smile of her own sister Veronica. Through blatant legal trickery, Veronica stole Cassandra's entire inheritance, the family art gallery and real estate, and risked it all on a catastrophic crypto fraud called Ascension Coin. This wasn't just a dispute over money. It was a cold-blooded betrayal of family trust. They thought Cassandra was just a designer, but they were about to discover she was a forensic architect of revenge. She didn't just want the money back. She wanted her unforgettable vindication. Anatadu. O rotero será escrito integralmente em Inglés, dividido em duas partes de aproximadamente 7,000 caracteres cada, segundo o tema de traco por Haranca no Canada. Clapperboard. I lost my inheritance because of my evil sister. Part 1. The Will and the Web of Lies. Approximate. 7,000 characters. The winter air in Toronto was sharp and unforgiving, a cold that settled deep into the bones, but the chill that gripped Cassandra Moreau had nothing to do with the weather. It was the sterile, suffocating atmosphere of the law office where her father's will was read. Cassie, a talented designer who had poured years of her life into running their family's small but prestigious art gallery and real estate portfolio, sat rigid. She expected fairness, a clear division of assets built over 3 decades. What she received was a slap in the face delivered by the deceased's attorney, Mr. Davies. Her younger sister, Veronica, sat beside her, radiating a practiced calm that felt more theatrical than grief. Veronica had always possessed the sharper edge, the ruthless ambition masked by an almost angelic appearance. While Cassie managed the day-to-day operations and preserved the family legacy, Veronica pursued high-risk ventures, constantly chasing the next big financial shortcut. The shock came when Mr. Davies outlined the terms. The majority of the Toronto properties, including the gallery's prime real estate, were transferred into a newly formed trust, with Veronica named as the sole executor and primary beneficiary. Cassie received only a fixed, modest annuity, enough to live on comfortably, but nothing that represented the years of sweat equity or her half of the family's true wealth. Your father's final wishes were clear, Cassandra, Mr. Davies stated, his eyes avoiding hers. Veronica was granted power of attorney 3 months before his passing, and she assisted in restructuring the portfolio to ensure its maximum future potential. Veronica reached over, placing a cold hand on Cassie's arm. I know this is hard, Cass. Dad just wanted to protect you from the burden of the business. You're the creative one. Cassie recoiled inwardly, recognizing the poisonous sympathy. The restructuring had happened during the 3 months her father had been severely incapacitated by a sudden illness, a time when Veronica had enforced strict visiting hours, isolating him from Cassie. The lawyer's words echoed in Cassie's mind for weeks. Veronica was granted power of attorney 3 months before his passing. Cassie knew her father. He was meticulous, fair, and above all, deeply attached to the gallery, the very asset Veronica now controlled. The future potential Veronica spoke of didn't materialize in any traditional sense. Instead, Veronica promptly liquidated one of the downtown investment properties, converting the capital not into blue-chip investments, but into a volatile, obscure digital asset called Ascension Coin, managed by an untraceable offshore shell company. Cassie, with her keen eye for detail honed by years of design work, felt a deep, immediate alarm. This wasn't protection. This was exploitation. Cassie hired a private forensic investigator, Leo, discreetly working outside the family's old legal network, which Veronica seemed to have quickly co-opted. Leo confirmed her worst fears. The power of attorney documents, while legally executed, contained several inconsistent signatures. More damningly, he found email exchanges between Veronica and the Ascension Coin's founder, outlining a high-yield, low-regulation structure, a sophisticated financial fraud disguised as a legitimate crypto venture. Veronica hadn't just stolen the inheritance. She was leveraging the entire family fortune on a criminal enterprise. The realization ignited a cold, focused fire within Cassie, burning away the grief and the shock. Her initial pain transformed into a singular strategic objective. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about justice and the methodical destruction of Veronica's meticulously constructed lie. She knew the Canadian justice system was slow, bound by bureaucracy, and heavily influenced by the financial resources Veronica now commanded. Cassie realized her revenge could not be fought in the open courts immediately. It had to be built forensically, strategically, using the one thing she excelled at: recognizing and dismantling flawed structures. She needed visual, undeniable evidence of the technical fraud that would not just annul the will, but dismantle Veronica's financial life completely. Cassie began her research, spending months tracing the digital footprint of Ascension Coin. She discovered that her sister's scheme relied on a complex chain of shell corporations registered in various tax havens, designed to obscure the fact that the profits paid to early investors were simply the capital contributed by later investors. A classic Ponzi scheme, wrapped in blockchain jargon. Veronica wasn't just wealthy. She was running a fraud that was about to collapse, dragging the stolen Moreau legacy with it. Cassie understood then. Her vindication had to be perfectly timed. It had to hit Veronica not just financially, but legally and publicly, ensuring her sister's descent matched the cold, calculated nature of her betrayal. Cassie's period of quiet preparation had begun. For 18 months, Cassie lived in the shadows, her life consuming the cold, hard logic of forensic accounting and legal strategy. She continued her design work, maintaining a facade of quiet acceptance while secretly accumulating irrefutable evidence. Her revenge was built on two fronts: challenging the fraudulent power of attorney, POA, and exposing the Ascension Coin scheme. The POA was legally murky, but the crypto fraud was a criminal certainty. Cassie, using her designer's eye for pattern recognition, translated the complex, opaque financial flows of the Ascension Coin Ponzi into clear, digestible visual graphics. Infographics that demonstrated the scheme's inevitable collapse to anyone, not just financial experts. This would be her weapon against the legal obfuscation. Veronica, meanwhile, had grown arrogant, flaunting her new wealth in Toronto's social circles. She expanded the Ascension Coin office into a high-rise downtown and publicly dismissed Cassie's legal inquiries as sour grapes. Cassie set the first trap. She filed a highly detailed, targeted civil suit focused only on invalidating the POA, forcing Veronica to use the offshore funds to defend herself in Canadian court. The legal fees served as a steady, controlled bleed on Veronica's stolen assets. The climax was timed to hit just as Veronica was planning a major international investment conference to attract a final wave of capital into Ascension Coin, a wave Cassie knew was necessary to keep the Ponzi afloat. Cassie delivered her final evidence package: the financial graphics, the internal communications proving Veronica's knowledge of the scheme, and the original, inconsistent POA documents, to the Ontario Securities Commission, OSC, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, Specialized Fraud Unit. She also sent an anonymous, visually compelling dossier to a prominent Canadian financial journalist known for his investigative integrity. The conference was set in a gleaming downtown hotel ballroom, attended by hundreds of potential investors. Cassie was there, sitting discreetly at the back, observing. Veronica, radiant and impeccably dressed, took the stage, presenting a confident projection of Ascension Coin's future. Just as she began to detail the guaranteed returns, the journalist's exposé, fueled by Cassie's forensic materials, hit the major financial news feeds. Chaos erupted immediately. Notifications flooded investor phones. Whispers turned to shouts as the room realized they were being pitched a fraud. Before Veronica could process the unfolding disaster, a team of RCMP officers, having received the clear visual evidence provided by Cassie, quietly entered the ballroom and moved toward the stage. Veronica saw them, her face draining of all color. She desperately looked towards the exit, but Cassie rose from her seat at the back, blocking the immediate line of sight. Their eyes met across the tumultuous ballroom. Veronica's veneer of confidence cracked completely, replaced by pure, desperate recognition of her sister's methodical vengeance. "You," Veronica whispered, not loud enough for anyone but Cassie to hear, the word heavy with both accusation and dawning horror. "The creative one, remember?" Cassie replied, her voice steady and low. I just finished redesigning your portfolio. It's called insolvency. Veronica was escorted from the stage in front of hundreds of people and dozens of cameras. The legal collapse was immediate. The OSC froze all Ascension coin assets, preventing further theft and securing what remained of the Moreau inheritance. The RCMP investigation guaranteed criminal charges. The subsequent legal battle over the inheritance was anticlimactic. With the POA proved fraudulent and Veronica facing criminal charges for securities fraud, the original assets were restored to Cassie. Veronica was stripped not just of the stolen inheritance, but of her reputation and freedom. Cassie didn't just win the money back. She exposed the crime, fulfilling her vow for justice. She took back the gallery, ensuring her father's true legacy was preserved, and found a quiet, profound satisfaction in knowing that her methodical revenge was built on the unyielding truth her sister tried to bury. She had lost her inheritance, but she had gained her vindication, proving that the quiet architect is always more powerful than the loud deceiver. Cassandra proved that the sharpest tool in the fight for justice isn't always a lawyer. It's the unwavering truth. Her methodical revenge didn't just reclaim the stolen inheritance. It exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud and cost her sister her freedom. What would you do if your own sibling betrayed you this deeply? Tell us what you would fight for in the comments below. If this story of justice and vindication resonated with you, hit the like button and subscribe to Power and Revenge for more intense, true-to-life dramas.